This is really, really stupid. You're shown all these cinematic shots of bloody corpses and injured people, and then you immediately get tonal whiplash when a janitor appears out of nowhere, jamming it out while cleaning the gory mess around him. It's ridiculous, but in a funny way. The people in the comments share the same sentiment, the top comments filled with many people cracking jokes about how ridiculous some of the content of the video was. This video is called Music for Sad People. It's a 3-minute long animated music video created by YouTube artist and animator Zalinki. It displays the events in an unidentified office workspace following a brutal carnage that occurred off-camera during some kind of celebration. Just going to pause this here for a quick warning. If you haven't seen the original video already, you might want to go and watch it. It's only 3 minutes, so if you're able to, go check it out and then come back. Despite how absurd it is, after the shock wears off, you're left wondering what is actually happening. This goes on for way too long to just be a joke. So let's talk about that. The video features 3 main characters who we'll go over one by one. However, you may have found that it's difficult to piece everything together when looking at just this one video. That's because this office building is actually a recurring theme throughout his channel. To get the full context, we'll have to look at another video first.
Let's go, people. Come on, move it, move it.
Compared to many of the channel's videos that simply use the office as a backdrop, the plan gives us a glimpse into some of the operations carried out within the workplace. The CEO of the company, who establishes himself to be Zalinki himself, strolls around the workplace and tells us all about his not-so-great plans on new channel content. It's essentially a comedy sketch, specifically one that focuses on self-deprecating jokes about how he thinks that the channel produces low-quality content, yet still manages to remain somewhat relevant on YouTube. But then, at the very end of the video, it takes a drastic tonal shift.
Between that and uploading literally whatever the hell I want, you can expect some good old videos and stuff, and skits, and videos with things and stuff in them, and stuff, and skits. Man, why did we do this? For them? For us? I just don't know anymore. I don't pay you to ask questions.
Apparently there's 2 of him, CEO Zalinki, who wears sunglasses and leads the workforce, and artist Zalinki, who works for CEO Zalinki in such shabby conditions that he seems like a hostage. For convenience, we'll refer to CEO Zalinki and artist Zalinki as simply CZ and AZ. First, let's talk about CZ.
All about theatrics and evil, always listening to music made for sad people.
Evidenced by the sign outside his office, CZ is the company's CEO, although he's not a nice one. When an employee gets his coffee wrong, he spits it out in disgust and says in horror,
I'm sorry, what is this? 2 creams, 1 sugar?
And judging by how quickly the workers become apprehensive upon witnessing this, it isn't the first time his temper has been lost over minor things like this. Though it is possible that the reaction is simply out of respect for him, it's unlikely. When you think of nice and respectable boss, you probably don't think of locking employees in closets and telling them,
I don't pay you to ask questions.
Furthermore, he seems to have a severe lack of empathy. Judging by his expressions in Music for Sad People, his first emotions as he walks through the bloodied hallways, gazing at all the dead bodies around him, seem to not be of fear, concern, or distress, but rather disgust, contempt, and annoyance. CZ is the typical sociopathic CEO character, who is more concerned with pleasing the public than the lives of his own employees. When he looks at his dead workers, he doesn't see lost lives, he sees a PR nightmare. CZ represents the pressure to please everyone, to give people what they want, no matter the cost to your own or anyone else's health. It's quite fitting that CZ's appearance is physically identical to Zalinki's persona, which he uses in many of his profile pictures. Whether CZ is actually his persona or just takes on the appearance of him is a little unclear. In nearly every single moment we see AZ, he's working in his dimly lit broom closet, sitting on the cold floor, perpetually stuck making drawings and animations for CZ on his drawing tablet. At no point in any of the videos we see him in do we ever witness him smile. AZ is overworked, tired, and utterly miserable. All of this is because CZ doesn't let him ever leave or take a break. Considering AZ did apply for a job as an artist, it seems that at one point he did genuinely enjoy doing this. Maybe at one point he liked his job and liked working there. However, AZ is crucial to the continued stability of the company. He's the only person we ever see directly creating content. To our knowledge, the entire office and company cannot function without him. Because of how critical it is for the continued success of the company that AZ continues working, CZ forced him to stay there, demanding more and more work, all while AZ's grasp on hope slipped as much as his workload increased. AZ represents motivation, or lack thereof. When you work yourself to the point where you feel like you can't handle any more and keep pushing on in spite of it, you get AZ, the artist who is an exhausted shadow of his former self. Judging by the way he treats AZ and the way his workers respond to him, one thing is for sure. CZ could care less about how stressed his employees are. Ironically, this prioritization of the company over the workers is what causes the company to come crashing down. Music for Sad People shows us the direct consequences of CZ's actions. The employees were already intensely stressed and frustrated, but what was the final straw? A slice of cake. Something so small, so minor as a disagreement over who would get the final slice of cake was enough to make everyone snap. The final outcome of which was bloodied corpses, destroyed furniture, and the entire company and its workforce left in shambles. And then, this guy shows up. The most perplexing piece of the story. The janitor. Of course. After the disaster is over and the dust settles, someone still has to be there to clean up the mess. This isn't exactly a job one would describe as enjoyable, especially if it involved dead bodies, yet here he is, bopping to the music with an unwavering cheery smile as a bunch of corpses rot around him. Why? Why and how is he this happy and enthusiastic about his job even when he has to clean up corpses? Well, to put it simply, he doesn't care. But not in the same way CZ doesn't care, no, quite the opposite. While CZ was so concerned and worried about satisfying the people that he began to completely disregard the well-being of his own workers, the janitor is on the complete other end of that spectrum. He could give less of a crap what anyone thinks about him. He enjoys the things he does without shame, even if other people might find it stupid or embarrassing. The janitor dances around in his uniform and cleans, not because he wants to please the public, not because he wants his own spotlight, but just because he wants to. The majority of the people in the building would have cared less about what he does, and he's just fine with that. The janitor represents the opposite of what CZ represents. He represents the ability to not care about what others think about you. Let's recap. The CEO represents caring too much about pleasing people, the artist is motivation, and the janitor represents not caring about having to please people. So, what's our conclusion? Nearly every character in the story represents some part of an artist's mind under the pressure to please others. When you let the need for validation start to replace your passion for what you do, Music for Sad People is the result. CZ will keep pushing for more work, for more content, for more, only caring about getting more people to look at what you're doing, and not caring about how much it might be destroying your love for what you're doing. And still, all of this is buried under the guise of, haha, look at the funny janitor. Everything in the music video, the juxtaposition of party decorations with blood, the dancing with the depressing lyrics, and even in the background vocals where one of the vocal tracks is tired and monotone, while another is upbeat and happy. All of these represent the theme of being in pain and just trying to smile and laugh your way through it. Getting recognized for making the things you love making is an incredible feeling. But Music for Sad People shows us that that kind of joy can turn into a nagging pressure when it's left unchecked. It can end up putting you in the same place as AZ, where the activity you once loved is no longer a love, but a burden. Not a passion, but a chore. Sometimes it feels like the weight of trying to make something for the sake of pleasing others is unbearable. However, Music for Sad People tells us that you'll find that the best projects you work on won't be made solely for popularity, or validation, or money, or fame, or power. While it will feel good for a minute, in the long run, you might not necessarily feel proud of it. The most fulfilling projects, the one you can genuinely cherish and love and look back on and think, this matters to me, are the projects you make not just for an audience, but for you. Hey, it's me, the 14-year-old you've been listening to for the past 10 minutes. If you like this video and want to see more, you're not in luck because this is my first time ever doing something like this. I do writing from time to time, but I've never tried putting it into a video format before, so if you have any tips or questions, feel free to post it down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and I might decide to make more in the future. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.